Good morning. Today is Thursday, December 17th. It is 10:20 and we are going live here in Phoenix, Arizona. Today, we're going to catch up on everything you need to know going into the end of the year and hopefully answer a few of your questions. So stay tuned. What's up, everybody? It's Greg Corbett with the AZ Lifestyle Group right here in Phoenix, Arizona. If this is your first time to this channel and you're looking to find out everything you need to know about what it's like living in and or moving to the Phoenix metro area, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you can be notified whenever we post a new video. We are helping people from all over when it comes to finding the best places and neighborhoods to live here, and we absolutely love it. So if you're even thinking about making a move and you need any assistance whatsoever, give us a call. Send us a text, shoot us an email, however you want to get a hold of us. We got your back when it comes to moving to the Phoenix Metro. All right, let's not waste any time. Let's bring our good friend and partner, Rudy Lopez with Crime Lending into our morning. Good morning, Rudy. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. And yourself?
I'm doing good. We're running a little late. I believe it's because Rudy had a mani-pedi appointment this morning that he couldn't miss, but those are important. You got to get those in, especially before Christmas.
I've been so stressed out that I asked my wife if she would allow me to go get one and just kind of leave me alone for 30 minutes. And it was and much needed.
She didn't say that she had to come with you?
No, she said, you can go ahead.
Oh, okay.
You're stressed out enough. I'm at home taking care of
nice.
2 kids. I'm not stressed out at all. That's
did
what
it
she said. Did
it help? Because if it helped, I might be there with you next week.
Yes, I think maybe our call next week should be there.
We'll just do it while we're there. Hey, that's a good idea. I like it.
Speaking of next week, where has this year gone by? Next week is Christmas, and I had absolutely I hadn't even thought about it yet, and I can't believe that's happening. So
can we postpone it, like push it back a month or something?
Yeah, I think we should postpone everything like another month or two.
Although that might extend 2020, and I believe most people might get upset if we extended the year.
We don't need that. Yeah, we don't need that. We need to hurry this one up.
I guess we could just have 2 Christmases in 2021, one in January and one in December. That would be fun.
Right, exactly.
We could do that.
Yeah.
We could do that. Yeah, it's crazy. It's been it's just been a blur of a year. Lots happening, a lot going on, and hopefully with everybody out there going through changes, and hopefully there's more positive than negative. I know it's been crazy for a lot of you out there. It's been crazy for us, and we're doing our best to stay positive and keep plugging away, building up a nice plan going into next year, and hopefully we can do that for you guys, for those of you who are out there.
Yeah, and we've had some really good conversations with folks from all over the country recently that are considering moving here, and they're thinking about maybe in the next 3 to 6 months, and I love that. I love the fact that people are already planning. They're looking into next year and looking to us to help them. So we should start the year off strong. So anyone out there that's still considering maybe moving here, please let us know.
Well, and we encourage you to come out here right now because the weather's amazing. Come out here now and enjoy it, like where you can, it's been fantastic. I love it when we cool down a little bit. It's been nice. We get we're kind of diving into the high 30s, like into the evenings and mornings this week. Probably highs in the mid 60s. Sunny. We had last week where it rained. That surprised both of us. But for the most part, it's just been sunny and nice. So good time to come down and check out AZ and check out the neighborhoods if you're looking at it. If you can't come here and you're stuck at home, then we'll do our best to keep shooting videos, send you all the snapshots of the neighborhood you need as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll work it out. It's not a problem if you can't be here. We'll make sure that we take care of you guys.
Rudy, obviously going into the end of the year, there's a lot of people, talking about markets, what's going on, if we're having a slowdown because of the holidays, what's going to happen next year. And I thought it would be a good idea to bring up, and let me bring up this document again here. This is something that's provided by our MLS, and helpful. So let's go through some of these stats here. First thing is just monthly sales, and we're We're down for a little bit from last month, but I think the big thing is year over year comparison, we're up 27% plus. That's pretty crazy to me. And kind of all the stuff kind of follows along. So new inventory is down a lot from last month, small increase from last year. Total inventory, we're seeing a monthly decrease of 9%. That makes sense because that typically happens this time of year. But year over year, a decrease of 28%. I mean, that's a huge number right there to be down. Active UCB, this is, who cares about that really too much. Months supply, I think this is kind of falls in line with everything else. 1.4 months. That basically means if we didn't have any new inventory coming in, we'd basically have 1.5 months of supply before everything was sold out. That shows you how low that is. That's got to be, near the record lows, which we've had most of the year. List prices are up. So the trend continues. If you guys want to see more of this, we can definitely send it to you. But I wanted to start with this. We'll kind of come back to a couple things here, but I wanted to get your first thoughts, Rudy, on what you're seeing and, just in general, what that means for people going into next year.
The number that I typically just gravitate towards is the months of supply, because like you said, if we just continue the way it is, no new houses came on the market, it's 1.5 months of supply, where an average market is closer to about 3 months of supply. And the fact that we're at half of that number to me, it just blows my mind. Yeah. And we talk about it obviously at how, the sales are up, inventory's down, and prices are up as well. But when I think about just how the market is not slowing down, it's, we talk about how real estate has been the one of the bright stars for the economy. That right here, you see it, how our market here in the Phoenix metro area is literally on fire.
Yeah.
And I just can't, and there's no slowing down. As long as the rates are where they are, as long as people are provided the ability to work remotely, as long as there's, the benefits of lower taxes here and lower cost of living here compared to some other parts of the country, you're going to continue seeing this, where I think there will be a slight change or adjustment, and I've mentioned it before, is on affordability, where the prices are going to continue going up. However, people are not going to be able to afford that increase, and I think that's when you're going to see a little bit of a shift in the pendulum.
It'll depend a little bit on interest rates. And first off, good morning, Yves. Thank you for joining us. Always good to see you. But
morning, Yves.
I want to go back to this because if we scroll back down, there's a couple things here. I'll talk about distressed sales in a little bit, but they bring up the Housing Affordability Index, and this is done by the National Association of Realtors, and this is comparing everything when it comes to pricing and interest rates. Our affordability is actually lower this year than it was last year. So this means that the higher the number is when basically the more affordable they are. So we're not too much off because of interest rates. And I think there's a misconception that we're way higher because you can see the prices jump. But because of the interest rates, if you're looking year over year, payment-wise, if you're taking out a mortgage, you're probably not paying too much more than you actually would have been last year. So I think there's a misconception on that price-wise, and I think that's important for people to know because I think a lot of people just get sticker shock and say, hey, look, I don't want to pay that, or that just seems like too much. But if you're factoring in the interest rates, it's not that much different.
Yeah, and as long as the rates continue to be low, and as long as their wages are supporting it, then it should hopefully be a healthy increase. It's when the prices get out of hand and the wages continue to remain where they are or not increase at the same level that we might see a little bit of a shift. So it's going to be interesting next year how that happens. But all the experts are predicting that for the most part in 2021, rates should still remain historically low. Not necessarily that they'll stay flat and low the entire time. There'll be some ups and downs, of course, but I think next year, there, as far as rates are concerned, we should still have a healthy market.
Yeah, well, and so there's another, and I won't have people read through this whole thing, but this goes through like a very in-depth conversation. Again, these are coming from people that just do straight up math on what's going on here, because there are still a lot of people that continue to talk about with the damage that 2020 has done to the economy and to eliminating certain jobs and to eliminating businesses, that we're going to potentially see this potential wave of foreclosures to happen. In Arizona, that does not look to be the case. And the biggest reason that they kind of spell out in there is with the numbers being what they are, people have equity. So if you're in a situation where you own a home and now maybe you can't afford your payment, you're not going to go into foreclosure. You're going to take that money and you're going to sell. So you're not going to see a big wave of foreclosures there. You could see some maybe additional market as far as additional homes coming to market because of that. But there's not going to be this dramatic, hey, now we've got a big wave of foreclosures that's going to be potentially hitting us at the end of 2021 into 2022, and we're going to see this big market collapse. As long as we continue having the inventories we have, or inventory level plus the demand, that'll keep prices maybe not going up as much as they did over the past year, but continuing where people can have affordability and people can sell if they're in a situation where they need the money. But it shouldn't hurt us from a market point of view.
Yeah, one of the positives is that for sure we have a lot of folks that are current homeowners that have that equity and are using that equity to their advantage for a purchase of another home. Maybe now they have more money that they can put down to afford that home that they want.
Yeah.
Or even if they're not necessarily looking to move, and they can refinance and get rid of their mortgage insurance that they had when they first bought the house and lower their interest plus eliminate mortgage insurance, then that's another strategy as well. So yeah, homeowners are in a good situation. Also, as long as they have the right advice and they talk to the professional that can help them. Because if you are in forbearance, or if you are in a situation where you're not able to make your payment, then don't feel like you have to necessarily panic at this particular moment. A lot of mortgage companies or banks are helping you to fight through this or go through this. So the fact that you have equity, that's a huge advantage, huge advantage.
Yeah, for sure. So I think for the most part, for if anybody, and I put myself in this category for a couple months this year, thinking, hey, maybe things might lighten up a little bit, for purchasing coming into the beginning of next year, where maybe there's an opportunity to get a little bit better deal. I don't feel like that's going to be the case. I feel like we're going to continue, and even right now, going into the holidays, there's been a slight slowdown as far as showings go. But I think, overall, I think people are still out there trying to get stuff done, especially because people have been outbid so many times and they've been waiting around. So there's just this overflow of people trying to get stuff done. I think that's going to go into next year. So that'll keep the market probably pretty much the same as it is right now.
Yeah, one thing that I've talked to a lot of our clients who are looking to buy, maybe first-time home buyers or not, is just to have a contingency balance of funds available in the event that you want to, or you have to offer above list price. It's not necessarily anymore just the down payment and just the closing costs. Now you got to be conscious of maybe having a little bit of extra more money if your house is having multiple offers received and you want to win that house. So something else to keep in mind as well, as we're going through this crazy market and having some fun at the same time.
Yeah. One other thing, when we were on a call yesterday, Rudy, I think this was an important message for people to know when they're coming from other states and talking about especially property taxes out here and how cheap they are. And if you're coming from a state like where you did, Texas, California is probably something similar. When you're coming from those states that have a higher property tax and how much that actually can make a difference to your monthly payment each year, Go through that story because I think that's important for people to know as well.
Yeah, I think initially what people think whenever they're buying a house is their first reaction, and I think it's normal, is just a sales price. Well, this is the sales price that I want to be at. And then maybe or maybe not, you are able to kind of calculate the monthly payment because there's so many factors, right? The down payment, whether it's a 15, 20, 30-year term, the interest rate, obviously, is there mortgage insurance? There's so many factors that go into a house that's not just the sales price. And oftentimes when we're talking to people, Greg, is they'll tell us, well, I'm looking at houses in this price point and I don't want to go above that. And then, when we are able to extrapolate that and explain to them that maybe a $500,000 house here is actually cheaper than a $500,000 house from where they currently live. And the example that I use all the time is my own example.
Yep.
Our house in Texas, it was at a lower sales price than it is here, and my monthly payment was about $700-800 more in Texas than it is here. So many different.
First, and give the price difference again because I think that was important.
Yeah, so when we bought our house in Dallas about 4 or 5 years ago, it was for $300,000, and our house here, when we bought it a couple years ago, was for $550,000, and our monthly payment on our house in Dallas is actually higher than it is here because of property taxes.
Right.
And therefore, so when we meet with people and they give us a sales price, we also want to make sure that we can give them what that sales price looks like monthly payment-wise, and oftentimes you'll be surprised that you actually might be able to afford a little bit more, or you're comfortable affording a little bit more here just because of the property taxes are so much lower. And it's something to consider.
It's a big factor for sure. And I definitely wanted, as I thought it was so important when, we talk about it all the time, but I don't think we've really given like a true case example on our live show. And I think it's super important to know.
Yeah, and what I do also is, if it's the first-time home buyer, we'll do a rent versus own analysis. I'll show you what if you're paying rent, if you're paying $1,800 here, how much does that equate to sales price-wise? And here in Arizona, if you're paying $1,800 a month, you can buy a house for about $350,000 with a 5% down payment for approximately the same monthly payment. So that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of where to be. If you want to be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, then we can adjust those numbers and make it work for you.
And if Vez is saying, let's see, is that a $500,000 house in AZ is cheaper than a house of that amount in New Jersey? I would imagine. I don't know exactly what the taxes you're paying or property taxes or any other things like that, or just market in general in New Jersey, what you're dealing with over there, Vez. But it makes sense if we're going to be a little bit better bang for your buck over here. Yeah,
don't just look at sales price. Let us break down the numbers for you, and I'll put together a nice little presentation for you and make it all make sense. So let us do that for you so that you can not only feel more confident but be well equipped on your price range. That way you're not just going into it thinking I'm buying a $500,000 house. You know why you're buying a $500,000 house and what those numbers are going to look like.
Yep. 100%. Rudy, we can talk market conditions all the time, and I think people get a lot of value out of that. But is there anything that you want to kind of bring up that's might be helpful? Maybe something people haven't thought about while they're searching around.
So the Fed met yesterday, Federal Reserves, and the chair of the Fed, Jerome Powell. He made some comments that were positive for interest rates, but maybe not so rosy and sunshine and rainbows for the economy, at least in the short term.
Right.
And what I mean by that is he did mention that inflation should stay relatively low. They don't anticipate inflation to go up in the short term, which is good for interest rates, because when inflation goes up, that means there's more consumer spending. That means that companies are investing more. That means the economy is doing great, which means interest rates start going up because people have more disposable income. People have more buying power. So rates go up to adjust for that. he's saying that inflation should stay relatively low, that he doesn't feel that there's going to be any inflationary pressures going into 2021. So while that's good for interest rates and mortgages and in our business, and just keep that in mind, that he's saying that he doesn't feel that the economy is necessarily going to rebound or recover at a very speedy pace, which means that, going into the first half of 21, obviously the vaccine news that we're seeing is positive. Stimulus talks are going to be positive to the economy. So just keep that in mind. While rates are still going to remain low, the economic forecast from the Fed is that it's still going to be a slow recovery, and really going into the second half of 21 is when I'm hearing that people are expecting the economy to recover in a much faster pace.
Yeah, and it's hard looking at it from the outside because there's certain sectors of society that are obviously doing very well because of what has happened, and then there's other parts that are devastated, and it's hard, like looking at the people that have been devastated by this. It's hard to figure out how that is going to overly affect us going into 2021. If there is a quicker path to recovery with the stimulus, with the vaccine, anything that we can do, hopefully as a society, to bring us back together in a positive manner. It's hard to say. It's just so strange from my point of view to kind of see certain parts doing so well and certain parts just struggling. It's hard.
Yeah, and especially in the housing market, where it's been nothing but just going gangbusters in our industry. You still have to take a step back and realize that the rest of the country is still recovering, and the rest of the country is still trying to fight through this. So we have to just keep that in mind as we're going into the next year. And a lot of the folks that we talk to about buying a house, some are waiting to see what's going to happen with their job. Others are ready to take advantage of these low rates and where the prices are today, because more than likely, no one has a crystal ball. If you're waiting to buy a house in 6 months or 12 months for no real reason, just because you just want to wait, then you could potentially be having to spend a lot more money and leaving money on the table, because these home prices are going to continue to appreciate. At what rate and for how long, we don't know. But if you're just waiting just because, then I encourage you to at least reach out to us so that we can run some numbers and just maybe shed some light and add more color to what's going on.
Yeah, I think both of us would agree, and from the experts that I trust, I think we're all under the impression that we can't continue to go through the same increases price-wise that we have been. That's not sustainable. So I don't think I would feel confident in being like, hey, you wait till next year at this time, there's going to be another 20% increase. It's like, that doesn't seem right to me. You never know, but so I don't want to put a complete fear in people, but I can definitely see how it could be more expensive for it if you wait 6 months. So it's hard to say. That could open up a few more opportunities on a house that maybe you hadn't thought of before, that's maybe a little nicer. So it could go. I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, and so if you decide to wait, maybe you'll find a better house. Maybe you pay a little bit more, but maybe it's a better house for you. But it is something you got to consider when you're making those decisions.
Yeah, it really boils down to your personal situation, because if waiting is what's best for you in your situation, then you need to wait. But if it makes sense to pull the trigger now and all the numbers make sense, then absolutely.
If you find the house that you think checks all the boxes, and to be fair, I don't know if any of us ever finds the perfect house that checks every single box. There's always a few boxes that you're like, okay, I'll let that one slide.
Yeah, I actually I never look for houses that check all the boxes, because like to your point, they're very hard to come by.
Yeah.
If they check all your boxes, they probably check a lot of people's other boxes,
right?
Which means another bidding war more than likely. So I've gotten now to the point where my perfect house, it's maybe out there somewhere, but I'm thinking more of like, check most of my boxes and then go on to the next one that checks most of those boxes, and just kind of evolves.
It's all a progression.
Yeah.
I like it. We're coming up on 25 minutes here. Let's have some fun. What do you have coming up holiday wise? Did you get a chance to go to Zoo Lights?
We did. We did the drive-through, and we didn't do the walk-through. It was the drive-through. It was about 45
I didn't even know there
minutes.
was a drive-through Zoo Light thing.
Yes, so they.
All right.
If you go to their website, there and it was sold out like 2 months ahead of time.
Okay. All right.
Someone at the office was kind enough to give me some tickets
Nice.
because they couldn't attend. But yeah, so on very specific dates throughout the month, they have days where it's just designated for driving through the zoo. And it takes about 45 minutes. We were in the car, just going at about 4 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Our daughter absolutely loved it. Our 7-month-old was confused on
Asleep.
what was going on. Yeah, he was actually confused. He wasn't all
Yeah.
and it was a great time. So
What are all these lights and sounds?
Yeah, and he started getting a little fussy towards the end because it was a little later in the evening.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what we did. And then on Tuesday, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday, we're going to do the McCormick, the park, where
nice.
the lights there as well. And that was
At the railroad park?
At the railroad park.
Nice.
Yes. So we'll be doing that for the holidays and just kind of hunkering down from there.
Nice. That sounds awesome. I mean, at least with the cooler weather, it kind of feels like the holidays. I know we've talked about this before. People have been decorating real nice. Like I've seen a lot of holiday spirit out there, and people doing extra stuff for their kids and stuff like that. Where we walk every morning, every night, and go kind of check stuff out, and it's been really nice. So
yeah, right now this time of the year is what we all think of and dream of whenever it comes to moving here. I know that when my wife and I were considering moving here, we never visited during this time of the year. It was always during the spring, and it was always beautiful. But this is awesome, and I love to grill. So around 5, 6 in the evening is when it's perfect weather.
Yeah.
I can go outside and grill for the family. So I'm taking advantage of this time because during the summertime you will not catch me outside grilling at any time of the day. It doesn't matter when it is.
yeah. No, and for I'm just random thought. I'm thinking of like going into like usually like I love the holidays, but then January 1st comes in. That's like my favorite time of year because of all the events coming up. It's going to be different this year.
Yeah.
It's trying to wrap my head around. I mean, we've had a different year in general, so it's like going into next year. I think we'll be prepared for it just because we had so many things that we had to adapt to this year. But yeah, it'll be a little bit of a bummer not having some of the events the same as what it's been in the past. But hopefully we have good weather and we just get outside and enjoy time together as family and friends in smaller groups. I guess I'll still make sure to say that, but hopefully again for people that are coming out, if you get a chance to make a trip out, it will be a perfect time to kind of come check out the neighborhood, see what's going on, and enjoy that at least, even if there's no party.
Yeah, you just said something that made me think. It's actually, I mean, always looking at the positives, right? Glass is always full. I guess it's good that the lockdowns and everything happened early in the year, because if it would have started maybe now and all of a sudden the world's locked down, that would probably be very, very difficult for people during the holidays to handle. By now we're just kind of throw our hands up in the air. What.
Well, I think California is back on lockdown right now.
Yeah, you're right.
And
I forgot about that.
We're hearing obviously a few reasonable complaints about that. I mean, I get both sides, but I would be struggling if not only because it's just so hard on your family, and none of us want to go through the challenges of having anybody we love in the hospital, that type of thing. We don't want to put that on our families or our healthcare workers, but there's a huge negative of shutting down as well. So it's a hard one, but we could spend all day on that. We're not going to do that. You can get that anywhere else on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Nothing but positivity here.
We'll stay positive here. I like it.
For sure.
Rudy, any other parting thoughts before we go? We'll see what happens next week. I don't know if our wives will allow us to jump on next Thursday or even the Thursday after that. We'll see, but maybe we'll try to do something different. We'll see.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. This might be the last call of the year. It might not be. I guess we'll just find out. But you're right. Our wives might be ready for us to take a little break, or they might not care. They might want us to just leave the house.
That's true.
We never know.
That's true. Well, that's right. We still have to do. We'll do this from the Manny Petty place next week, Rudy. That'll be nice.
Right. I'm looking forward to it. Man.
Bring your Santa hat. All right, brother. Well, good to chat with you again. For everybody out there, hopefully we see you before Christmas. If not, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Enjoy whatever you're celebrating out there. Hopefully you enjoy it with family. Thank you guys for watching, and Yves, always appreciate you catching up with us live here. And again, appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you next time. Have a good day.
Have a good day.